Welcome to the second episode of the Cast That Ends Creation. I'm your host, Chris Deering. This is the show where I interview bands and public figures from the mathcore community. If you beautiful people have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'll try to read them out loud. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this in your car, this show first streams live on Twitch every Sunday. Feel free to join and drop some comments. With all that out of the way, let me introduce my guest. He is in 4 different projects: Farg, Lungknots, Meyer Planner. He's also propaganda manager for Roman numeral Records. But the project we're here to talk about is Fawn Limbs, which releases Sleeper Vessels on the 18th, which is this Friday. Welcome, Eeli Helin. You're a very prolific artist. So far in the past year, you have done 6 different releases across your different projects, 4 of them from Fawn Limbs. How do you find the time to get it all together?
I just do. I think the main reason to why I'm able to be that prolific is just simply the fact that it's my main focus in life at the moment is to pursue all music related things, and I think in addition to that, I've been able to find a good chunk of people who kind of fit to my model. So so I think those are the main reasons to why I've been able to be that prolific that I've been so far. And with Fawn Limbs, for example, I mean, it has to do with the fact that the people doing it with me are available and focused on getting things done. So yeah, those are the main reasons, simply put. Why.
Yeah, let's not forget the rest of the members of the band. The band has an insane pedigree. Yeah. So Lee Fisher on drums, currently of Alpha Numeric, Linguist, Focusrite, and he also drummed in Commit Suicide and Psyopus. That's insane.
Yeah.
Samuel Smith, who's the bassist, is in Artificial Brain and Luminous Vault. So mathcore supergroup.
Yeah. I don't know. I've heard people mention about that in the past, but I don't know. I think the pedigree of the people involved, it matters in to a certain extent, since when people online can see those names attached to us, it might be maybe easier for them to check us out, that lowers the bar of just jumping in and listening to us. But I don't think that supergroup idea, it really doesn't fit in that sense, because it's not the driving force behind the project at all. So it's not like I would have asked Lee to start the band with me solely because he's been on Psyopus, or we didn't ask Sam to join the band because he's an Artificial Brain. So yeah, while those 2 people have their own notable other bands active, currently active, and former bands, I'd say that we're still quite far from the supergroup idea per se. So yeah.
Well, it also raises people's expectations, so you have to deliver, or they're gonna feel very let down. But you do deliver, so it works out.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So yeah, and I think that even though we all have other projects, I'm mainly happy about the fact that, for example, even though Lee has been a part of Commit Suicide and Psyopus, it's not like people would listen to us and expect us to sound like those other projects. So I'm happy that even though even though there's that certain, like, well, like you said, that super group title to be attached to us, it doesn't dictate anything, and people listening to us are still open-minded about everything we do. So
Yeah, definitely, man. So how did you get this all together? Sam and Lee are from the States, and you're in Finland. How did you get
mhm.
all that to work out?
Yeah, so initially, Lee and I both were in this other project called Infinite Nomad, and that started when Gene Strider wanted to redo an old EP she did with that project, and then she searched for a drummer, and it didn't matter that where the people involved would live, because it'd be an online project entirely. And so Lee and I joined that project, and then we started talking around early 2018, and we found that we have mutual interests. And then later on in the summer of 2018, then Lee made this famous post to Facebook, this drum clip thing, where he said that he'd like to start a new project that would fall somewhere in the middle of this grindcore mathcore field. And then I contacted him about it and said that I'd be interested in doing that with him and starting a new project. And then we did, and it was just the two of us for maybe 6 months or so. And then I told Lee that I think that now it's the time for us to look for a bass player, because I I wanted to. I think that while it worked out that I played bass as well, I just wanted to have someone who could perform that stuff and add his own, like, signature tone
Yeah,
tone to it. And
bring someone else into the mix, get more ideas going.
yeah, exactly. And also because I felt that playing bass as well would take too much time from me, since there's already quite a lot of other things I'm doing in the band. So we talked with Lee about that, and then he said that he's in touch with Sam, and are friends with him and the other artificial brain guys. And then I said that, what the hell, reach out to him, and then he did. And then Samuel was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And then he jumped on board. So that's about it.
Alrighty. So what's the writing process like? You just write the guitar and send it off to Lee, makes drums, and goes on like that, or are y'all more collaborative?
It's collaborative effort for sure, but the basics is that I demo each track, which means that I record guitars and program drums, and also to do a demo bass track, and then I send those tracks over to others. And for example, the program drums are like, placeholders. It's not like I'd expect Lee to perform those to the
Yeah,
beat,
just like
but
some simple beats or whatever to keep the time.
yeah, simple, and some are more complicated. But then Lee interprets those, like, in the way he sees fit, and then we go on from there. But basically, I demo everything, and we have like whole demos when we start working on new material. So it's not like I just record a riff and then send it over to Lee or anything like that. It's definitely more more controlled.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about the recording a little bit. It looks like you
Mhm.
record all the guitars yourself, and then y'all send in the guitars and the drums and all that stuff, which I assume each member is
Mhm.
recording themselves into somebody that
Yeah.
can mix them and master them and things like that, right?
Mhm. Yeah. 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 So we have we are fortunate enough to be able to record all our parts alone, um, which of course makes things so much more easier when we don't have to book studios or
Right.
stuff like that. I think the only exception to that has so far has been the vocals. Um, when I've utilized the friend's services for that, basically that I travel to his studio, and it's just easier that way that he he then just records everything and all the vocals, and then sends them back to me, and then I work with them and edit them and do like the finalize them myself, and then once everything we have everything together, then we send them to an external engineer who usually so far have handled like both mixing and mastering, except on this new album when we have where we had different engineers for both mixing and mastering.
Alrighty. But it looks like I didn't see vocal recording. What do you call them? Uh, I didn't see on your Bandcamp where it didn't say that you recorded vocals at a different area. So I thought that maybe y'all recorded them this time yourself,
Um,
or did y'all go into the studio for that?
yeah, I definitely went to the studio
Okay. Okay.
this time as well, but if it's not on Bandcamp, then I just forgot to put it in there.
Okay. Okay.
But
You're
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
So I hear a lot of vocal layers here. How many are there? I hear a lot of highs over the lows, kind of like a behemoth demigod era
Mhm.
type of vocals, different from what you were doing before.
Um, there's, I'd say that normally it's one or two separate tracks, sometimes maybe three, but that's about it. Like I don't, um, the only kind of doublings that I do are like only, like you said, they are low versus high stuff. So I don't like record multiple different tracks as doublings. So yeah, I'd say that it's from one to maybe three different tracks. No,
Okay.
not more than that. Yeah.
So why not just record and mix everything yourself? Why do you send it out?
Um, um, because it's just easier that way. Over the past few years, I've gained enough like knowledge on the field that maybe if I pushed myself, I'd be able to mix and master a release myself. But but so far we've always went for an external engineer because we will also want to let go of the control of the process and have different people involved, and that also works for our benefit in the way where all of our releases sound quite different, which is something that we also want to do, and we want to achieve that. So so yeah, I'd say the main reason is that I simply couldn't be bothered with that, and that way each of our releases get their own like signature tone to them.
Yeah, as someone that does mix and master all of his own stuff, it is really difficult, man. I think Elon Musk said
Yeah,
about like starting corporations, it's like chewing glass and staring into the abyss. It is very much like that for
yeah,
mixing and mastering, man.
yeah,
It sucks sometimes. It's the worst
yeah,
part of the whole process.
yeah. And I think that if I started to do that myself, um, I'd just get, caught up in it, and then it would just be like very difficult to come up with the final product.
Oh yeah, you're just like, oh, I just want to boost the bass drums here a little bit. Well, now it's eating up a little bit of space that the bass is carrying, and
Hmm.
you
Yeah,
just go back and forth
yeah,
for months.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, the name Fawn Limbs. I assume we're
Hmm.
supposed to assume that the fawn's limbs have been severed and are hanging about in some disgusting forest. It's just kind of an odd
Hmm.
name, but for some reason it makes it feel I don't know uh, like I guess disgusting, but that's not really the right term. It's just like, so you're not just talking about fawn limbs being on a fawn, right?
No, no. I mean, um, the name is kind of it's rather strange, in a way, but you can like interpret it interpret it on multiple levels. Um, it originally it was the track title, which we lifted then as the band name. A band name when the time to come up with a name became topical, but there is really isn't any kind of like deeper meaning in that. Um, Other than maybe it also connects in a certain way to the artworks that we have, because fawn or fawning over something also translates to keeping something in high regard. So
Oh, okay. I was
they
thinking like fawn as
so
in like a baby deer.
mhm.
I guess it's not
Yeah,
the same
yeah,
thing.
and yeah, yeah, but it's not that literal. So yeah, and yeah,
Okay.
there is no deeper meaning behind that, but you can read into it in many different ways for sure.
Speaking of the artwork, you do all of the art, right?
Hmm.
And they're like actual
Yeah,
photos and stuff that
yeah,
you're taking.
yeah, yeah,
Do you have like a model
yeah.
that you use, or is that like your hand in harm remissions and stuff?
I have multiple models that I'm using for the artworks, and so yeah. Basically, it's myself taking photographs of other people, and that's it. So
Alrighty. So fawn
yeah.
limbs is hard to categorize, and I'm sure that's by design.
Hmm.
You just take a bit of death
Yeah.
metal, grindcore, mathcore, with a healthy dose of black metal and sludge. Bring it to boil, cover it, and simmer for 30 minutes, and you get fawn
Hmm.
limbs.
Yeah.
So if you had to put your band in a genre, though, what genre would you choose?
If I had to, I'd say that we are math grind, because I think that the most prevalent elements in our music are taken from grindcore and mathcore. So I think that if you wanted to categorize us easily, you just call us math grind.
I could
So
definitely agree with that. Yeah, and I
yeah.
love the evolution of the music. One of my
Mhm.
favorite releases that y'all did previously was Thrum with that spoken word
Mhm.
story. It was so good, man. It just
Yeah.
builds this atmosphere that you can't escape. What gave you the inspiration to do the story?
Um. So, um, we actually, when we wrote that EP, we worked in a very different way than normally. Because initially I just sent Lee some these odd electronic tracks. So there were no programmed drums, no guitars, no bass, no not anything like that. It was basically just electronics and noise. And then I just threw them to Lee and said that, hey, play something. And then he improvised most of the stuff in the over a weekend or two. and then later on I added guitars and bass on top of that. And I don't know, just like at some point throughout the compositional process, I just got the idea because it has this kind of very soundtracky feeling to it, and when when re-listening to the tracks, I just started to hear this kind of narrative going on, and then I proposed this idea to Lee, and he was like instantly on board with it, and then I wrote the story that's on it, and then Lee handled the spoken word parts,
Oh, so that's Lee
and
speaking on
that
there. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome, man. So you started bringing in the glitchiness. I would say probably around Harmon Missions. There might have been a little bit on the one before that. But this time you were
Mhm.
pushing it really hard with
Yeah,
photovoltaic hum being like the like big moment of all that happening.
yeah,
So where
yeah.
did the glitchiness and inspiration come from?
Mm, well, to be completely honest, originally the idea of starting to utilize that kind of those glitchy things came from listening to Frontier, and then on top of that, I at one point maybe um, at the beginning of 2018 or something like that, I started to listen to a lot of like electronic stuff and glitch code, and yeah, and the idea basically came from there, and because it's not like um something that people would do that much, or at least I hadn't heard it being done apart from Frontier and Section and few other single bands.
Yeah,
But
like this is the
that's
furthest I've
yeah,
seen it. I've heard it taken. Like I've never heard another band doing it as much as you do, and it just makes it hit that much harder. You know.
yeah, and it was with this new album, it was a conscious decision to push that as much as possible, which kind of, like you said, it resulted in this different kind of way of writing. Where now on this new album, there's like entire sections that are based entirely on the glitchy stuff. So yeah, we definitely pushed it this time.
And it is awesome. Everything from like the composition of the songs to just the way you order the album, it feels so good. It's like I'm watching a movie. It's amazing.
Yeah,
So let's talk about lyrical inspiration. You have
yeah.
some nasty lyrics with that are disturbing, but they're not gory. You're not talking about killing anybody
Hmm.
or sexual debauchery or
Yeah.
anything like that. Let's just read a little bit from a song "Ruiner." People haven't heard this yet. I got an advanced copy, and I just thought
Hmm.
these lyrics were
Yeah.
disgusting. So
Yeah.
disposed to an abyss, margined with a myriad of gagged mouths. This is an invigorating voyage through the sloughing pharynx, nicked by the canine teeth cloaking the trail to the maw to dissolve. That is amazing. It's just so gross, but it's not. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Hmm.
It's just unsettling, you know? So, how are
Yeah.
you able to write these kind of lyrics, man? Like, teach me.
And yeah, so the basic idea behind the lyrics is that I try to approach them from a rather, poetic angle. Um, and also because I really dislike, that basic like killing everyone and doing, that gore
Right.
stuff. It's not something that I personally enjoy at all. So that's the reason why I've chosen to take a different path on that front. And on the new album, that's also kind of pushed maybe a bit further than before. Um, the lyrical themes the new album are quite dark and unsettling. Um, like, well, you should know because you read the lyrics, but this time it's they are, apart from some apart from few occasions, they are very like concrete after all. Like if I told you that the album deals with matters of like a abuse and racism and oppression and stuff like that, you start to read them in a different way. And it's and the main reason I wanted to do that is because, like you said, there's that feeling of, you know, when you're reading them, you can easily get slightly disgusted about them, but it's fine, and it's all like tied to real life and real events, so it's not like this made up tough guy fucking badass violence. It's all is very real
Yeah, a lot of it
this
seems to
time.
be dealing with like our climate like situation and
Yeah,
like it seems like class issues, but I'm not completely sure what all you were talking about in some of it.
yeah. There's definitely that's definitely also included, and
Yeah.
to a certain extent, but it's mostly written from an individual perspective this time. So it's like even though there's some hints towards it, it's yeah, I'd say it's more individual experience than it is about just vaguely fighting the machine or stuff like that.
Yeah, you're dealing with like depression and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Luke Kelly Music says in the chat, it's almost a mix of existential and visceral disturbance in the lyrics, and that's what makes it engaging. And I have to agree.
Mhm. Yeah,
Again, if anybody has any questions, comments, just drop them in chat, and I will ask away. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure you get this all the time. When are shows happening for you? COVID depending. When are shows happening for you?
Um, well, I can't really say.
So are there plans to do shows with Fawn Limbs?
Um, no, there haven't been any concrete plans. I mean, we've discussed about it, and it's possible, but it's not something that we try to pursue at the moment. Um, but it's more like never say never kind of situation. So it might happen eventually, and I'd like it to happen as well. I think it'd be really amazing to perform live at some point, but at the moment it's not something that we are actively trying to.
I gotcha. Do you perform with any of your projects live?
No, not at the moment. I only have one project where the members all live nearby. But but then with that one, it's we are everyone is just so preoccupied with other stuff, and so yeah, while playing live with Maya Planer, for example, um, would be something that we're able to pull off. It's just not on the top of our list of things to do at the moment. Um, but there actually was some plans for next year when this one US band threw us an email that they're coming to Europe and asked us if we wanted to participate participate on that tour. But at the moment it looks like it sadly won't happen.
Oh yeah. I mean,
So
with everything going on,
mm,
I understand that.
yeah,
But hopefully it does happen,
yeah,
man. Like people want to see you
yeah.
live.
Hopefully. Yeah, yeah,
The Nightmare of
yeah,
Solomon asks for a rundown of your gear.
yeah. So that's another question that we get a lot. But like I said in the previous podcast I did with the blokes from the heaviest, it's like I can give you two answers, a long answer and a short answer. And the short answer would be that I have a guitar, a cable, and a DI box. And the long answer would be that I have two guitars, a cable, and a DI box. So it's I'm I'm not at all interested or invested in gear. It's just not for me. And I think that also kind of ties in with the idea of us using an external engineer, because when I record, try DI signals and then only send them to the engineer, that also gives us so much more possibilities, and it also positively affects the outcome.
Oh, what kind of
So
guitars do you
yeah.
have? Like what's your brand?
At the moment, I have Ibanez. I can't remember what models, but I have a seven string and an eight string of the same kind of model. And with Fawn limbs, I'm mainly using the eight string because it has better mics, and the feel is just better. But yeah, yeah, Ibanez.
Okay. What kind of audio interface are you using?
Um, I actually the interface is,
You just plug straight
well,
into your
it's so
computer? Or?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a box in between, but there's
Okay, I was gonna
the
say there's no way
label.
you actually plug it straight into your computer for that.
Yeah, there's a box in between, but it's just this old piece of junk that I've gotten from a friend. I don't think it even, like, the manufacturer even exists anymore. It's just this really old, dusty
That's crazy, man.
metal
From the
fucking
recordings, you
box.
would think that you're using like some awesome kind of interface or whatever. Like
Hmm.
not
Yeah,
something
but
super
no,
old. That's
no.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, but it's just like I really don't care, as long as I can record, and it just can come up with healthy signal for the DI tracks. That's all I need,
Yeah,
basically.
your engineers are like amazing if they can take like
Hmm.
a signal
Yeah.
from like this old box or whatever and turn it into what
Hmm.
it ended up being. That's nuts, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So for mm, mm,
I'm sorry,
yep.
I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was just adding that for demoing purposes. I have this Helix native plugin on my laptop, which I use on my recording software, um, to produce a livable amp tone. So it's all like digital stuff. So I don't even own kind of amps or heads or nothing like that.
Oh, okay, that's cool, man. Sora Aurora wants to know if there's anything new gonna if sorry if anything new is ever gonna come from Infinite Nomad.
No.
Alrighty, straightforward.
Yeah, yeah. It's as simple as that. Yeah, not happening. Yeah.
Alrighty. Um, well, so Sleeper Vessels drops this Friday, the 18th. Vinyl is going to come through Roman numeral and Wolves and Vibrancy. CDs through Dark Trail and the band, and cassettes through Sledge Lord. Get them while you can.
Mhm.
Is there anything that you'd like to plug?
Well, not really. I'd like to say that the reception for the new tracks has been amazing. The pre-sales have been amazing, and we are eternally grateful for people for supporting us, even though the times are pretty rough at the moment. So yeah, basically, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has supported us or will support us and care about our doings. So
And I can say with
yeah.
full confidence that there's even better songs than what's been shown as the singles. The album is just incredible. Everyone's gonna be blown away when they hear this thing. So for me, next week we have Needle Play. It's gonna be this Sunday, next Sunday, obviously, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the streaming sites. YouTube folks, if you like the video, please drop a like, subscribe, and tickle that notification bell. Check out my music, The Sound That Ends Creation. Dropping a new album October 2nd, Memes, Dreams, and Flying Machines Through Dark Trail. Any social links that you wanted to plug? Like, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, so you can basically find us everywhere by just typing in Fawn Limbs. The Bandcamp would be fawnlimbs.bandcamp.com. I think our Instagram username is fawnlimbs noise, and on Facebook it's just Fawn Limbs, and that's how you'll find us.
Alrighty, well, thank you for being here, Eeli, and thanks to you wonderful people for watching and listening.